this is why I do the work that I'm doing, so that even the young ones today, they should know that this is not an easy road. There's a lot in it. But today, young people promote themselves on social media. You know, there's freedom of speech. They can do everything. There are people like Relebogile who are called influencers. They influence and all sorts of things.
Yes.
Who knew that you'll get paid for being on social media? So young people are having it easy today, but there's a lot of bullying out there. There's a lot of being abused in those things as well. So these are the things. These are the goods and the bads of this industry. And so for me, failure is not something that I look at as being ashamed. Big business people fail. And if you have not failed in business, then you consider yourself lucky, because those are lessons that you have to look back and say, did I do my DD? You know, my due diligence. Did I look at what my other people are doing in business? I'm a Henley student. And so these are the things you have to know. And you strategize before, you know, and you know what to do before you could do anything.
702.
The upside of failure.
Sometimes failure is the foundation of greatest success stories.
Mama Yvonne Chakachaka, the Princess of Africa, is in the building. Ma, how are you?
Good, Gilogile. How are you? You're looking so beautiful.
Thank you. And you know how many people always say I look like you? They always, I'm like, that's my mom though.
You should tell them that I'm your mamncane.
Yes, ke mamncane, ke auntie. And I love every time I have a guest in studio that I know personally, trying to remember where we met. But in this case, I was trying to remember when we last saw each other. And we just realized the last time we saw each other was at Mas Bongile's house after she passed away.
What? I mean, so sad, so sad. I know everybody was just crying, and because we didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
You know, she had been ill, but we didn't see it coming. But it is what it is. She'll always be here with us.
Always. And it's so crazy because things that feel so recent also feel so far back, because you were saying it was COVID. Only now I'm like, yes, it was. Some restrictions were happening at the time, and I remember coming there with Loyiso Bala and Tate Jerimnisi, and you know, we got to spend some time with Masibongile's daughter. It's so weird, you know, she took over her mom's number, so I never changed it. Every time Ayanda messages me, I think about her mom, and that's just my way of remembering her. What was the loss to you personally? Because over the years, and you've been in the game for so long, you've seen so many artists go, those that you grew up and were performing with, to the young ones.
I must say that it has been a good 39 years.
Yeah.
With mistakes here and there, with challenges here and there, but you know, we soldier on. I can only say thank you to all those who've granted me the platform to do what I do, and me in return helping where I can, because my philosophy is that as you grow with others, don't grow alone. Today, I'm very happy to see young artists like Makadzi, like Tyler, and like Amapiano just making it worldwide. Everybody just wanting to listen to the South African music. I mean, we've had people like Mama Mary Mageba, who put South Africa in the world map. So South Africa, it is unique in a way. And I'm sure Nigerian artists, because they were the ones who were known, South Africa has taken them over. You know, they've taken the spotlight from them. But I think it's a very good thing. Music evolves, music changes.
And I'm glad you're mentioning the young ones, because the baton has been passed on. And I'm wondering about the phase in your career that you're in at the moment. How do you choose what you want to be doing? How do you choose what you want to participate in? Because you still get booked for corporates. We were on a stage together at one point.
Yes.
And you still get to go and select. But at this phase of your career, with the way that the music industry has changed, how do you choose what projects to get involved in, what to champion? I know one of your big passions is looking at the backing vocalists, and you've been, flying the flag high for them for many years. But the other things, outside of your philanthropy, how do you choose what to do in the music space?
You know, the creative industry is a very big space. So we're busy with Music X, as it is with Gallagher Estate. It's the business of music.
Yes.
So I've said to myself, I've managed to be in this space for a very long time. How do I impart my knowledge to the young ones? How do I learn from them as well? Because it's a two-way street, you know. How do I say to them, when you've got 3 million hits or listeners on your DSP, how does that translate into rents and cents as well? And be able to keep that money so that that money should work for you, because it's actually nauseating to hear that these young people are performing everywhere and they don't have money, or even older artists have been performing and they die paupers. That should stop. That should not happen. So how do we help young people who've got the platform, who are making money, who are getting popular, to be not like us, you know, so that their money can work for them? How do we make sure that there's longevity in whatever they do? How do we make sure that they are being respected? Because that's another thing, you know. And I think we need better policies to change this industry, because our work is seasonal. We don't work every day.
Yes.
And if we can get policies that will say artists, you know, should be treated like your regular workers. We don't have fringe benefits. We don't have retirement annuities. We don't have pension funds and things like that. But because we are in this industry, you choose to be in that industry that you want to. So it's important that then you have people who will then help you, because people will say, oh, but we buy their records, we go to their concert. So how do we then say to the artist, whilst the sign is shining, you know, make hay and make that money work for you? So this is what I've been doing.
Does it mean that, because I know many people look to you within this industry, within the music industry. So does that mean that the new minister has called you up yet to say, Ma'am Yvonne, I want to hear from you as one of our legends and icons, or you're waiting for the phone call?
Well, you know, I'm not the one who puts myself up there or out there. No. I know I just did another interview an hour ago, and somebody was asking me, how do you feel about the names of the people who were, you know, disposed out there? I think it's actually very sad that that had to be done, because everybody wants to have their dignity. These artists, it was during COVID, and if the minister says there should be an expose or what, I really don't think that is okay. Artists were under pressure just like any other person. Companies were helping their people. So who was supposed to help the artists? It was the Department of Arts and Culture. And it's not that people got billions. They were bebexhaswa ngesizulu, if I may put it, you know. So it was the department that was supposed to help our artists. So it's not that people by pitile. If then that's a problem. But it is the department's job to give a helping hand to their artists, just like any other company. Yeah.
All right. Well, I look forward to being a fly on the wall on the conversations in the minister's office, and we do hope to see a change in an industry that definitely needs quite a lot of help and support. And I think you're correct in saying, look, the lists and the things are one thing. It's a bigger picture, systemic issue of policy and what rights that those in this industry get to have. Like you say, we have to take care of our own retirement annuities, our own provident funds, and then people are shocked when people pass on with no money. It's not sustainable. Ma, we've been speaking about the industry, and I'm thinking about when you were younger, as a little girl. What was your understanding of what the industry is, but also what failure looks like? Because when you are a young songstress that's trying to get into the business, the vision might be, as long as people can hear my music and know my name, or anywhere there's a stage, I will just be there just to be heard. But when you were a child, what in your mind was failure? Was it getting to get older and nobody knowing who you are and who your music is, or was it never having the opportunity to be on stage to sing?
Well, I really think for me, um, I will call it just the business
Yes.
of everything. Obviously, when you're young, you want people to listen to you. You want to be famous. That's the word. You want to be famous. You don't care about the business side of everything. So you want to be on stage. You want to be seen. You want to be traveling and doing all sorts of things. But you don't know the administrative part of it. You don't know how much you have to put, how much money has to be put there, packaging and distribution and all of those things. And you never even think about that because you think somebody's doing that for you. Whereas,
And this is now in the era of LPs and cassette.
yeah, well, that's where I come from.
Yes, where at the time, if a cassette is being sold for 25 Rand, you maybe are getting 50 cent.
Not
per
if-
cassette.
Well, yeah, maybe for 50 cents.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because remember, there's a cassette making, there's a cover, there's everything that goes to it.
And the booklet.
And the
we'll
booklet
never forget the booklet.
with the name
Yes.
and everything and all the accolades out there. And obviously, the businessman behind it, they will tell you, we've paid for marketing, we've paid for everything, and you don't know any of those things. So this is why I do the work that I'm doing, so that even the young ones today, they should know that this is not an easy road. There's a lot in it. But today, young people promote themselves on social media. There's freedom of speech. They can do everything. There are people like Relebogile who are called influencers. They influence and all sorts of things.
Yes.
Who knew that you'll get paid for being
Yes.
on social media? So young people are having it easy today, but there's a lot of bullying out there. There's a lot of being abused in those things as well. So these are the things. These are the goods and the bads of this industry. And so for me, failure is not something that I look at as being ashamed. Big business people fail. And if you have not failed in business, then you consider yourself lucky, because those are lessons that you have to look back and say, did I do my DD? My due diligence. Did I look at what my other people are doing in business? I'm a Henley student. And so these are the things you have to know. And you strategize before, and you know what to do before you could do anything.
There are a couple of comments saying, why do artists not have financial advisors? Why is it the same story over and over again? And I've seen it with my own peers, and I've been fortunate that I grew up in a family of accountants, and Tate Mabotja is an accountant. And it's because I was privileged. Not everybody has the privilege of having access within your immediate circle without you needing to fork out money. So something as simple as having the right people around you to even tell you, look, your taxes need to be paid. Something very, very simple, whereas we still have people today who aren't aware. So maybe share why it is that after so many years, we are still having the same conversation of have the right team around you, have the financial advisors. Some of these people cost money, lawyers to look over your contracts. So maybe share your view of why that is still the case in this day and age.
I want to disagree. It's not only artists. Soccer people are the same. Other young people who starting work, they don't see the need of investing now. So what I've learned is that you have to start investing when you're young. When you are 19 or 20, you start working, put that money aside. I didn't think I'll be 59. I didn't. I thought at 19, when I started singing, having an advance of 10,000 rands, which is money that mom did not even have.
And that was a lot of money back then.
It was cash.
Yes.
It was on the floor, and we're walking on top of these purple 5 rands, which you guys don't know.
Yes,
In Ama
I
2000,
know. I remember the 5 Rand
the purple
notes.
5 rands.
Yes.
But I would advise anybody, when you start working, it doesn't matter whether you're an artist or you're an artisan or anything. It's better to start investing money when you start working, because you can never say tomorrow will cater for itself.
Yes.
So in our industry, it's totally different. As I said right from the beginning, our industry is a thankless industry, and it's a seasonal industry. But we're not here to blame people. When you start getting into whatever business, you need to surround yourself with people who will advise you.
Yeah.
Phil Hollis, when I was young, Phil would say to me, Yvonne, there's a check of 300,000
Please
rand.
share with everybody who Phil Hollis
Phil
was
Hollis
to you.
is the guy who owned Different Records.
Yes.
And he would say, Yvonne, we've got a check of 300,000 rands. We're going to give you 100,000 and we want to invest 200,000 rands. And I hated him, I must say.
Because you're like, why are you taking my
money? Why are you
money?
doing this to me? Why? Who the hell are you to do this? But I have to say today here that I have to thank Phil because he instilled that sense of wanting to invest. Even when I parted ways with Phil Hollis, the money that I made from then to now, it kept me going because whatever cent I was getting, I'd invested it. Whether it was in Putumanati shares, MTN shares, whether it was on Dow Jones, and I put my money there, and it worked for me. And today, I always say, I've paid my taxes, I pay my VAT, I pay my UIF, I pay my pay-as-you-earn because it is important. So you need to align yourself with people who will advise you to say, when you get the check, if you are paid X amount, you must know that 15% is for VAT. So other people work as contractors and they don't even get that 25% that's being taxed. So you have to know that you are your own boss. What needs to go to SARS has to go to SARS because at the end of the day, they will find you. They've got ways. They
Even
can
if you are
freeze your
dead,
account.
even if you are dead, SARS
when
is
you're
going
dead,
to
you
get
pay even more.
Yes, they're going to take that money. I want when we come back to chat a little bit just about, you have been championing some amazing causes in your life, but just I think people don't know the mom in you to your boys, of which two of them are crazy guys, and they don't know the wife that is Yvonne Chakachaka. I think they don't know that side, and I think some people don't even know that you have some interesting crockery pieces. I have your teacups in my house. And
I love that.
It is, and I think there are parts of you that people don't know about. And I love that about your career in the sense that you've been very private and you make everything about the work or the philanthropic issues that you're championing. But there are parts of you that are just so, what's the word I'm looking for? Admirable in your home life. And there are so many little pieces that we can take out from that. Before we go to the lines, and I see all your calls, Paul, Lynn, Nicholas, Ma, you lost a parent, and it does not matter what is happening or the circumstances. I think losing a mother comes as a shock to everybody when it happens. And I wonder, with so much loss that you've dealt with, how did that one impact you?
Well, the person who died recently was my mother-in-law. And my husband's father had 3 wives.
Yes.
So they were all bomme, baka. And I must say that Tiny humbled me, and he taught me the love of family. He loved all the mothers, and there was no segregation amongst the kids. So my mother-in-law was my mother. My mother died 17 years ago.
Yes.
And my father died when I was 11 years old. So Tiny's dad was a polygamist, and that was acceptable, and the family loved each other. And so I'm really clear, and I respect that. Yeah.
And for those who don't know, when you say my husband and you say Tiny, she is referring to Dr. Tiny Minga.
Is he a doctor?
No, listen, all I know is my family still goes there to him. And he's just been a phenomenal individual in your life. And earlier when I alluded to the fact that there's the wife and the mother, Yvonne, you are this massive superstar in this home. But when you are next to that man, you are Mosadi. You are, I don't know how else to explain it, but I absolutely love watching your relationship and your marriage. It is so beautiful and admirable, especially when we look at how many broken black homes there are in this country.
Thank you, Relebogile. I actually don't know about a superstar. I just know that I'm the mother to my kids,
Yes.
a grandmother to my grandchildren, and the wife to Tiny. I think sometimes we try to change things that are not changeable. Tiny is a husband, and he has to be given that respect that he deserves. I'm the wife. His job is to treat me like an egg and not butter me or abuse me. So we need each other, not to compete, but I think just to complete each other. That's what families are all about.
Yes.
And sometimes we really want to do things that are beyond us. But my mother usually told me, when I was young, my mother told me that marriage was not the ultimate. She told me that you need to be empowered as a girl. So my empowerment is being married, is doing the things that I love doing. It's not being abused or battered. And my husband doesn't tell me what to do. So I respect his space. He respects my space. I cook when I want to because I'm the mother in the house. And that's how we live our life. And we try and tell our children to respect women and to respect themselves as well. So if you respect yourself, no one has the latitude to mistreat you.
Indeed, indeed. We've got so many people on the lines, 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 7021 702. Let's go to our first caller, Mpo from Zanin, Limpopo. Mpo, how's it?
Hi, Manimijani.
Good. Go ahead.
Manimijani.
Ahe, yipuke mjani.
I forgive money. I want to remind you of something. Do you remember the school that you sponsored for the UNISA Music Foundation?
Yes.
Serious School for the Blind.
Yes.
You sponsored the school for 2 years in a row while you were still at the UNISA Foundation competition. Remember, ma'am?
Yes, I do say.
You killed it. After leaving it, you killed it because the choir hasn't been there for 3 years now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, please leave your numbers.
Yeah.
You're making me feel bad.
Yeah, because as you know, the Music Foundation is happening on Monday. That is a competition. And we didn't even we failed to raise funds. And remember, when you were there, we have gold certificate from advanced, jazz, from beginning and intermediate. You help us a lot. And since you left, we can't, because we can't raise funds to go outside.
And you know what, Paul? What's so difficult? And we will take your details and share with my Yvonne. What's so difficult is there's only one of her to go around.
Very true.
And I'm sure you get these requests quite often. But let's go to the lines again, and then we'll get an opportunity to respond to everybody. Lynn from Pretoria, go ahead.
Hi.
Yes.
Yvonne, it's so nice to speak to you again. You probably don't remember, but 27 years ago, I was working at a small design studio in Southampton, and I designed a CD cover for you. And you used to come into the office, and you were the most wonderful, gracious, gentle person I've ever met in my life. And you, to this day, remain my absolute favorite client. And I hope I did you proud.
I remember, Lynn. Thank you. And you're still around. Of course I do. I remember everybody who makes me feel good and people who just embrace me. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I think I just had those short dreadlocks.
You did, yes. And we did the CD, and inside the cover opened out to a poster of you, so your fans could have you on the wall next to you.
I remember that very well.
I always remember you. I boast to people that I know you, and you were just wonderful. You used to come in with your son and Tiny after you fetched him from school. I think I was pregnant, but I just want to say thank you for being such an amazing person, and you made a difference in my life, and you made such an impact on me all those years ago.
So appreciate
27 years ago, Lynn, that is amazing. My goodness.
She really was amazing. I mean, she was so creative. She kept on saying, let's put this picture here. Let's put the words here. And she totally designed everything. And I just fell in love with her.
I'm busy looking at all your album covers over the years, and they are super iconic. Now let's go to the lines. This is actually my former colleague, current chairperson of SAMRO, Nicholas Maweni from Sandton. Nicholas, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm fine, Relebogile. Thank you very much. And what a wonderful guest you have out there.
Yes.
But I thought, let me also weigh in on something that very few people know. But I was so busy first. I was very busy. Investor. And I think sometimes you must have a masterclass to help people to know how to diversify, how to help many young people in the creative industry to also understand how to create other revenue streams. She somehow mastered that part. But let me share this quick one, with Yvonne. You know, at her 50th birthday in 2015, I think, she gave a wonderful opportunity for a young person who was not well known by many of you. And she gave this person to open for her show at the Lyric Theatre. And then probably later that year, the person blew. It became one of the top-selling artists in this country. And I think that was Nati Mankai.
Oh, my goodness. And that is the generosity of Mum Yvonne and Nicholas. I thank you so much for sharing that, because I think people don't know some of those stories, that it does take one person believing in you. Ma, what did you see in Nati that you gave him that opportunity?
You know, Nick is a very humble man. Nick had given this young man a thumbs up.
Yes.
And on my 50th birthday, I just listened to the song. And I thought, Walaisha Malaika,
Yes.
that song. And I just said, okay, go perform. And I think I must have paid him 5,000 rands or nothing.
Yes.
And he became the biggest artist. For me, as I said, Relebogile, when you are in a position, don't want to be there alone. Give a platform to others. And God will always grant you whatever you want. Like tomorrow's show that we are doing at the convention center.
Yes, you are going to be honored.
I'll be honored
tomorrow.
by some people
by
from
the
Ghana.
Ghana Awards.
And I
Yes.
brought the young girl, Princess, who sang at the Last Idols, to come and perform Kanauche Chema and
Yes.
Umkomboti.
Oh
Because I
my
must say, she sang Umkomboti even better than me.
I
She
worked
blew it.
with her.
She just sang it.
And she is phenomenal.
She's amazing.
Princess is just a wonderful singer. I had the 2 Idols contestants at a corporate. They take instruction. They are so well disciplined. So it is lovely you're going to do that. And obviously you will be getting honored there at the Ghana Awards tomorrow. Let's quickly go to Abdul in Joburg South. Go ahead, Abdul.
Mom Yvonne, you are such an inspiration to our Rainbow Nation. You are truly an inspiration. Listening to on 702 has inspired me. And the question is, what is the upside to failure? Yes, there is an upside to failure. The word fail, F-A-I-L, first attempt in learning.
Absolutely.
It allows us an opportunity to grow. It allows us an opportunity to become creative, to become resilient. So yes, 702 lenders, be like Mom, Yvonne, and let's grow. Let's create a stronger human in ourselves. Allow failure and find a solution, because there's always an upside down to failure. Wake up, dress up, and show up like Mom Yvonne. Thank you, Mom Yvonne.
Absolutely. Thanks, my darling. Oh, I've got tears in my eyes.
Beautiful, Abdul. Thank you for sharing that. Pearl from Johannesburg, you have a memory of Mom Yvonne.
Hello, Yvonne.
Hello,
This
Pearl.
is Pearl Mabotja.
Oh, I love this woman. Do you know Pearl Moatse?
Tell me.
This is the woman who was on Radio Bob.
Whoa.
These are the people who, Sis Pearl, I just want to tell the world. I was with Brenda at the toilet.
Yes.
And we were having our girl fight thing. And she poured me with beer and Pearl, come.
You were having a full-on fight with Brenda Fassie with beer.
And she poured me with beer. And Ospel just took me aside and said, don't do anything. And these are the women who opened the doors for us. These are the women who've been in this industry for a very long time. Ospel, I want to say from the bottom of my heart to you and Ostu Limwaki, you are the best and we love you. You opened the doors when it was not fashionable, and we are who we are because of you, and we want to thank you.
Thank you so much, Yvonne, and we are so proud of you.
Thank you.
From the little shy little girl that you were to what you are now. Well done, girl.
Thank you, Ospel, and thank you for rescuing me.
My goodness. Do you remember that fight, Mepel?
I remember it very well.
What was the fight about?
Bully you.
Oh my God! What was the and at that time, because was Brenda also an up and coming at the time?
Well, no, she was a superstar.
So
she was a superstar. We were at Bob.
Yes.
I mean, Brenda is a girl who made us black girls to say it can be done. So we were at Bob then. We were just having our little fight, but not a bad thing. And she just hoyed me with beer, and Auspel just took me aside and said, don't do anything, Skamushapa, don't do, and just go outside, Ngonaka, Arie, and we went out. And I have got so much love for this woman.
Yo, Mepel, aren't you glad some of these things that happened back in the day were not in the era of social media?
Yeah, it would have been better. In fact, social media would have been amazing with Brenda Fassie.
Right?
Oh, yes.
She was something else. And she saw a threat in you. That's why she did what she did.
Politiki ekana, taba ekana. So, and I think, Mepel, maybe you can comment on something that I'm thinking about. There is a thing where I still feel it in the industry, where as women they're pitted up against each other, and it's like they can only be one. We still see it even today, where now in the US, Tyler's being compared to, she's the new Rihanna. Do you think that was what the setup was back in the day, that they can only be one, where really there's space for everybody?
Absolutely.
It was, but I mean, Brenda, well, like Yvonne says, she was a superstar.
Absolutely.
But then there was this other little superstar coming up, and she didn't like it.
But we were like frenemies, I would call. We were friends and enemies at the same time. Because, I mean, she confided in me so much. And people, I mean, it obviously she would say, I want to be on stage last, I want to do this. And I granted her that because, when Brenda started singing, I was in Form 3. I
Grade
10.
10, yes.
And so for me, she said to a black girl, it doesn't matter where you come from, you can make it. And I mean, she had the greatest voice of them all.
There's some lovely messages coming through, Dudu, saying, Mum Yvonne is a phenomenal, humble, lovely mother. I remember meeting her at my then workplace, and she gave me a motherly advice that I should never allow anyone to take advantage of me, and complimented my work. Much love to her. More messages saying, Yvonne used to buy from my father's fruit and veg in Bryanston in the Kramer View Center. She was always so gracious and so lovely. My parents love you, Yvonne. That is from Pauline, and so many messages that are coming through on this. But we're going to do something a little bit different very quickly, ne? A little bit of a detour. Now, Ma, not so long ago, you were doing an interview, and there was something that you mentioned around royalties, and Ntate Chico Twala, who is also a former colleague of mine. So we've got Chico on the line. Chico, long time. How are you?
It wasn't,
how are you, Lebza?
it wasn't about royalties. It wasn't about royalties. Let's put it straight.
Okay, so this is what we're doing. We're coming to clarify. Chico Oshab. Oh yes, by my grannies. Oh man, please bring me some fruit and veg. But let's solve this issue now. So, Mom Yvonne, what did you say? And let's clarify, because it seems that there was a miscommunication from what the media reports came out.
It was not a miscommunication. I think the people just wanted to make things sensational.
Yes.
Chico is a good friend, a brother. So what I said was that with the work that I do, if you go into the studio, you should know what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you. There's mechanical rights, there's performance rights, and things like that.
And composition and all those
exactly.
things. Yes.
And the guy was asking me, when you compose Mkomboti, what inspired you?
Yes.
I said, I didn't compose Mkomboti. Mkomboti was composed by Chico and Ati van Veek.
Oh.
Yes, those were my words.
Yes.
So it was composed by these two people. All I ever did was to add on raves and put the
improv and
improvising and things. And I still think maybe they could have credited me on that. And so my name is not there. Those were my words.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. No royalties about that. I mean,
yes, I understand.
doesn't pay royalties.
Yes.
Chico doesn't pay royalties.
Yes.
So it's the things that I said, as a young artist, you should know.
Yes.
You know, to say
that your
what
contribution.
Your contribution.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right, Chico, so there's no fight, ne?
No, we don't fight with Chico.
Not at all. I cannot fight with him. Yvonne is my sister. Never. Let me tell you something. Without Yvonne, there wouldn't be Chico.
I found Chico, you know that. I introduced Chico to Phil Hollis.
What?
And he became the greatest producer.
Let me tell you something, Nebu. Even the name Chico, for me to be Chico, is because of Yvonne Chakachaka.
Don't go deep into that, my friend.
Tell us.
And then now the song that we're talking about, I even complained. I was really worried yesterday when I saw it in the press. But you know, I was asked to write this song for Yvonne. And I remember fighting with Phil Hollis. Why is Yvonne getting 12% and I'm getting 3%?
Yes.
At the time, you know. And I said, no, because Yvonne is a performer, she's the artist, and we are just a writer. So that's all I know about the song. So when I heard it from this emoji that I ripped her off, I knew it's not Yvonne saying that. The newspapers they write what they like, you know. I think that's what they do for a living, and I don't think it's okay. But I listened to Yvonne's interview; she didn't say what Umoja said.
And I'm happy it's been clarified, because sometimes, and I'm going to say media as a whole, without distinguishing reputable agencies, without all types of media, which includes social media, is that clips can be shared, one sentence can be shared, and then people look like they said things they didn't say. So on record, la ratana.
But I think then, Chico, you must then put that Yvonne put the raves. Ne?
Yes, you must put. Please clarify on record, Chico.
No, you see, with raves, I can't, because even when you write music score, you can't actually. Rave is for Yvonne. What she did, she gave a great performance in the song. Without her vocals, the song wouldn't be what it is. It wouldn't have been a hit all over Africa. So her contribution, definitely.
So must I go? Are we walking to some road to change the split sheet? Ne?
Just to put, give me 3%.
Give me 3%.
Then we have to change the whole range of Beyonce.
No, when Beyonce raves, her name becomes there. They put her name. But for me, that is the things that we really have to really clarify, Silo. It's important, you know, and say if Relebogile is in the studio or whatever, whether you put one line, hola, hela.
Yes.
When the song becomes big, you will say I contributed there. But really, for me, it's knowing what you have to grant to the person, and who's the writer, who's the composer, who did the lyrics and everything like that.
Final words on May Yvonne. Share with us something wonderful about this amazing woman.
Let me tell you something. Like I said, you know, she's done so. You know, if there's one woman, in fact, there's two women that I'm really proud of in my musical career. Is Brenda, Fassie, and Yvonne Chakachaka.
But you left them fighting Kodi toilet.
He wasn't there.
I remember one day, Dr. Mandela invited us for lunch.
Yes.
Me, Brenda, and Yvonne.
Breakfast. It was breakfast.
Brenda didn't pitch up.
She didn't pitch.
And then she didn't pitch. It was me and Yvonne who worried. And then when we found her, we asked her, hey, why are you not here? Today, Mandela cannot invite me in the same room with Yvonne.
No, you see, now we're going to need a whole other show for this conversation. Sello Chico Twala, thank you so much for chatting to us, Ma. Your final words on failure for the listeners.
Well, I just want to say to the listeners, a failing doesn't mean you are stupid. It means maybe you didn't navigate things properly, you didn't do your proper due diligence, and wake up, dust yourself, put a better strategy. Even with big businesses, they put a strategy and something happens. Who knew there was going to be COVID? We all didn't know. And when COVID hit, companies shut down, strategies changed. People worked from home. They didn't go to their offices. So failure doesn't mean you are a fool or you don't know what to do. It just means start doing things afresh and go forward.
Me Yvonne Chakachaka, Mama Kiawarata ne.
I love you too.
Righty.
702.
The upside of failure.
Sometimes failure is the foundation of greatest success stories.